This video will explain why Pandeism overcomes the most significant argument raised in favor of atheism, and therefore why atheists should consider Pandeism as a logical alternative to atheism. First, let us understand what atheism is. Atheism is the lack of belief in a God, and is usually understood to cover a lack of belief in comparable metaphysical systems. Thus, a person who had never heard of any religion, and had acquired no belief, would be considered an atheist. And, a person who lacks belief in the existence of a particular god, such as the Greek ocean deity Poseidon, would be an atheist as to that god. A variation, strong atheism, is the belief in the affirmative non-existence of gods, that the existence of any god is impossible. Since there is no conclusive evidence either way, the belief in the impossibility of a god, or similar type of creator, is every bit as much a matter of faith as the theistic convictions that the existence of a god is a certainty. Theists have typically dodged the most powerful arguments made on behalf of atheism through a sort of special pleading about God being so mysterious and unknowable that it cannot be the subject of atheistic objections. But this special pleading is a nonsensical kind of non-argument or willful blindness, and Pandeists do not need to resort to this at all. Instead, we will take on the most substantial atheistic argument head-on. The most basic argument for the impossibility of God is what noted atheistic biologist Richard Dawkins has deemed the Skyhook argument. It is that, if the God is proposed as a necessary source of the highly complicated design underlying the universe, then that God must itself be more complicated than the things that it has designed or created, and would require an even more complicated necessary source, a creator of its own. While this argument is accurate in response to the logically unsupported theistic conception of an inexplicably infinite, omniscient, and omnipotent God, there is no basis for the belief that any being responsible for the design and creation of the universe must be more complicated than the universe itself. Even now, computers are used to design supercomputers that are much more powerful than the computers on which they are designed. Alternately, it may be observed that relatively simple forces and functions may yield complex outcomes. For example, dropping just 2 drops of water at adjacent points on the surface of a pond will cause highly complex ripple patterns to occur across that surface. In mathematics, a remarkably simple formula and operation can be used to generate the Mandelbrot set, which contains many forms reflected in nature, and is an outcome having infinite levels of complexity. Thus the creator may be nothing more than energy which has through its own iterations acquired intelligence and power sufficient to kindle a small reaction which, through a judicious application of mathematical knowledge, establishes and operates a neat set of laws of physics which culminates in the creation of all that we now see to exist. This is all that Pandeism requires, and so here Pandeism does what theism cannot, offering a direct response to the most significant objection raised by atheists.